Bowflex Barbie here, your host of the Flex Pretty podcast. And y'all know, just like every other episode, I bring you an amazing woman to join me as my guest. And today is definitely no different. I am joined by DeAnna.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me, DeAnna. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm
so excited.
Thank you for answering the call.
Yes.
And I only know you from following you on Instagram over the last couple of years, which I love your content. I love following your journey. And I'm excited to get to know a bit more about you and to share a bit about you, your journey with the viewers, the audience as well. So for those who don't know you, tell us a bit about you.
Okay, well, my name is DeAnna. I am 25 years old. I have recently graduated from the University of Bahamas studying marketing.
Okay.
And so I work in sales and marketing for a destination management company in Nassau. So we deal with events, large groups, and we basically plan their vacation and trip here. So I deal with sales and marketing there, and I love fitness. So fitness is my passion. I have a fitness page on Instagram that's pretty humble following. And I just post like my workouts and stuff, things that inspire me, things that I'm dealing with on my journey. And yeah, I try to make authentic content for people to see.
That is awesome. So talk me through, I know you said you love fitness. You have your fitness page. Talk me through, I guess, when you got into fitness, and like, was there a point where you got into, why did you get into it, when you got into it, and when were you like, I really love this?
Well, I would say I've been athletic all my life. Well, all my life, elementary, middle school, high school. So I was doing soccer in the States. My family moved to the States for about half a chunk of my life. I did soccer from ages, I want to say 7 to 13, and then I moved back home and I did soccer here, and then I also did volleyball. I ran track in the States as well. And then when I graduated, I didn't really have any sports that I was doing. I wasn't doing soccer at UB. I just was like
in school.
Yeah, in school I kind of fell off with like my whole athletic journey. So then I went ahead, and I would want to say the pandemic is when I got my first job. I started working like around 2021. So when I was like 20, I started to go ahead and go to the gym. I was working out at MacFit East. I would go in the morning, in the afternoon, go to the boot camps, and then I fell off. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, okay, I want to start exercising. So I was doing home workouts, a lot of cardio, a lot of home workouts, no weights. And I got consistent with doing that, but I wasn't seeing like any change in my body. So then I started, when the island opened back up again, I went to the gym again, and I started to be consistent with working out. I fell in love with like weights. I learned about weights. I was just into a challenge. And I think I realized that sports and fitness was always like my love. But because I kind of went through that break, I didn't remember. And then I went to the gym and I was like, okay, this is actually my sport. Like the gym is my sport. This fitness thing is my sport. So I would make just routines for myself and just do it. I fell in love with just the whole process of it. And it just finally clicked. Like, I don't know, I'm sure people know in their fitness journey where it just seems foreign, and then all of a sudden it kind of like makes sense in a way.
So you get into like that groove.
You get in the groove. You're like, oh, this machine works this machine works this. Like, I get it now, you know? Yeah. Not that you know everything, but it's kind of like...
You're comfortable enough, and you're like, you feel at home in a sense. Yeah,
like you can kind of go there and feel confident to try to do a workout without feeling like you're looking silly.
Yeah.
So that's when, I'd want to say about consistently 2.5 years that I fell in love with it. and just been consistent ever since. Yeah.
About how long was that break between, I guess, competitive sports to picking up fitness again? How long of a break was that?
I would say a good 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years of like not exercising. No, I mean, I would say like I would do one little like YouTube video exercise.
Not like consistently.
Not consistent. Nowhere in the gym. Nothing like that. Yeah.
And how long have you now been like consistent on your fitness journey?
Consistent. Okay, so next month is gonna make 3 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you feel like is the most challenging part of you're 3 years in now. What's the most challenging part of being consistent on your fitness journey?
I would say the most challenging thing is realizing that like you're past that point of you're going to see those results like popping up, and you're going to feel as if you're going through a stage of just seeing your body look kind of the same. And that's kind of difficult, especially with posting content and stuff. You kind of feel like, okay, well, I've been doing this for so long. Why don't I look like this? Why am I not seeing the progress that I feel like I should be seeing? Mm-hmm. That probably is the most challenging part. It could kind of feel like you put in all this work.
Like you're stagnant, yeah.
For nothing. I wouldn't say for nothing, because you'll still see those results, but it's a slow. It's not going to be like how for your first year you just seeing those results and you're like, wow, like I could keep doing this and I could look exactly how I want to look. It's a journey, so just accepting that it is a journey, that you're doing it not just for how you look, you're doing it because you love it. You're doing it because it's just a passion of yours. You want to be healthy. Like you have to find other, I guess, your why as to why you are really doing it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that too. I think I've been in the fitness space, like my own personal fitness journey, for like 15 years now.
Oh my God.
I started when I was 14. And I started just out of like, my dad dragged me along to the gym with him. Okay. My brother dragged him.
14.
My dad dragged me. I was similar to you. I was in sports already. Okay. So came from a very athletic family. My dad... my mom had passed in 2008. That was the year we started. And my brother kept nagging my dad to join him in the gym.
Okay.
He was home on break from college. And my dad was like, oh, you might as well come too, because you're an athlete. You could work out in the gym. Oh, wow. And literally I've been on it ever since. I played sports in college for 2 years. But the gym has always been a constant. I think because for me, it started out as an emotional release for me. Okay. Like I just loved that I felt better when I left every time. I wasn't going in there trying to like, I didn't have a body target. I was like 14 years. You ain't got no real body. So, you know, like true. I was pretty strong because I was athletic. So I loved that I was able to challenge myself, push myself. But I mean, so when you've been on the journey that long, it's like, not until I got into competitive bodybuilding, I started to really hone in on like aesthetic goals and like targets. And even then I'm learning that comes in seasons. Like I'm not going to be shredded 365 24/7 as a woman. It's not healthy. Okay. And the type of life I like wine, you know, the type of lifestyle I live. I want to I love me some sushi. So I realize I have to find that balance where, you know, I'm lean for a few months out of the year, and then I'm not as lean a few months out of the year, and I have to learn to be okay with that, because that's the life I want to live. But I totally get that, and it took me a long time to get to that place, to feel comfortable, like, especially being as an instructor in the fitness space. You know, you have you have to be the poster child of,
I could imagine,
ideal fitness. You have to be people's body goals, and like people watch this transition from super shredded to now not super shredded. So, you know, but it took some time to get there. But I think the biggest thing for me is just, I know I feel my best when I'm in a routine and that routine includes exercise. And so I know that I'm not going to get the results I want and not going to be in that mental space if I'm not doing it. And so the only option is to keep doing it, you know? So I totally get you with that. What do you feel like has been the biggest reward for being consistent, or what's been the most rewarding thing about being consistent?
I would say just feeling more confident. Personally, I would say for myself, taking other people out, it would be just feeling more confident when you go ahead and realize like where you came from, even though you've been in a consistent pattern and you know you look pretty fit over the past 3 years. It's kind of like, okay, but I know at a point in time, I was afraid to come to the gym. I was terrified to come. I was like just dreading it. Just knowing like where you came from, I think that's the most rewarding part. And then if you bring other people in, it's kind of seeing that you could be hard on yourself, but other people are looking up to you and they feel as if, okay,
you're light years ahead of them. Yeah.
And you're like, boy, you feel so behind. Like for me, I'll be thinking, oh, you're not where you're supposed to be, you know, and then other people are saying, no, like, I trying
to get to where you at. Yeah.
Teach me, show me. Can you go ahead and like give me some advice? And then it just makes you feel as if, you know, not all your hard work is going to waste. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. I know we were talking a bit earlier. We were talking before we hopped on. You were saying you want to get into the coaching space. So talk me through that. Like, is it has it been something you wanted to do even before getting consistent on your personal journey, or like talk me through that. Talk me through the decision to I want to get into working with people. Like, who do you want to work with? Yeah. Talk me through that.
Okay, so I would say I was going to the gym, and it really was just for me. Like, I had no idea in my mind that I actually one day would like to be doing this as a job or a part-time job, or like I didn't think about that. I just was knowing that I wanted to do this because I'm passionate about this. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, this is a new thing for me. So it went like a year of doing just that, and then it went into, okay, I want to post my workouts, and then people comment, people ask, and then I was thinking, okay, like you could maybe one day, if you're serious enough, you put in the amount of work that you need to do and have confidence in yourself, maybe one day you could actually make this a job for yourself. So I would say maybe within the last year, I was just telling myself that I was kind of ignoring the thought. The thought would pop into my mind. I'd be saying, no, that's not going to be something that's rewarding for you. No, that's not going to be something that people are going to show up for you. You're not going to get people. And I think that's something that was just, those thoughts would come in my mind, and then I would just think, you know, let's not even think about it. Let's not even think about it. You just posting because you like to do this. And then I started to realize that, no, I think I actually one day would like to coach people. One day I might like to teach a class or do online coaching. So I would like to coach women and just be able to be someone that they could look up to, create programs for them. I would like to start off doing like in-person training, and then work my way up to like making programs with people online so that I can be able to kind of reach more people instead of just, you know, my circle in Nassau. So that is my goal. That's my dream. If I could do that, then I know that's something that I would be 100% passionate about. I'm sure that comes with challenges, and when you in it, you're like, oh, okay, this is really what it takes.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I've been exactly where you are, and the thoughts are a lot more intimidating than the actions.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm a firm believer of the momentum principle. Once you start, like, you build that momentum, you build that capacity, and it's a lot less intimidating. Like, I just watched this video the other day of talking about confidence. You build confidence through actions. That's just like true. You built your confidence in the gym through going consistently.
That's true.
Showing up and you know, like putting it. It's hard, like you said, when you have those thoughts of, are people going to show up? I have those same thoughts every time I'm like, I'm going to launch a program, I'm going to host a class. I have this thought that pops up, like, are people gonna come? Are people gonna buy? And the reality is, I don't know. But like, if I don't do it, they ain't for sure.
Who's gonna know?
So you gotta try.
Yeah.
And you take everything as a learning experience as well. It's not a loss. You learn. You either it's a success or you learn. And if it's not a success, you take those lessons and say, okay, what can I do differently? How can I pivot? What can I change to make it even better or to make it a success? And so I'm ready to tell you, you want to teach a class? Give me a date. Like, let's set it up.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. And it's so inspiring to like actually, because this is the first time I'm meeting you in person. I've been following you. I would tell people about you. I'm like, I'm so inspired by you.
Thank you.
And I think it's just so amazing that like you are, just being able to talk to people and push people and be able to motivate them. And because in this island, a lot of people don't really reach out who are in the industry. And I don't really see myself like in the industry until I was to go ahead and really start making it a career. But I think it's so awesome that you are starting to do, you're doing stuff like this and just having conversations with people to like pour into them. And I just think it's so cool.
Thank you. I think for me, because I started pretty young, I think I started full-time in the space when I was, how old am I? About to be 30.
Oh, wow. But 30 is young, so.
Thank you. The last 6 years I've been full-time in the space, right? So that's what, 24?
Yeah.
So a little younger than you when I moved to Nassau from Freeport, went full-time into fitness. I was in it for, I would say, professionally part-time since I was in college. 2012, I started doing like boot camps and stuff at my campus. Moved back home in 2014 to Freeport. Did a couple programs there while I was working with my dad. Then I decided I want to go full-time. Moved to Nassau. I went full-time in Nassau, and I was figuring it out. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I hear like.
But I do it.
Yeah, and I didn't have. Thankfully, my husband was here. We were dating at the time, but he was here, and helps me kind of navigate some, make some connections, navigate those early years. But what I really wished I had, I want to be for people in the space. So when I say that, I mean, like, what I wish I had was a network of people that I could lean on and that would invite me to stuff and that I could learn from. I didn't have those open doors. I had to kind of just figure it out for those years. And so I've been able to work with a few ladies in the space here. One of them is now in Canada and is a gym owner. And like she was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and like we were going back and forth, and she was like, you gave me that chance. And I was like, but you helped me too. Like we helped each other grow in that state. And that's what I think it's about, right? Like, I think as a culture we have, and in the fitness space especially, there's this high competitive nature, when in reality, like, there's enough for everybody. There's more than enough for everybody. And so whenever I see people, like, I've worked with a few ladies in the space here, and I'm like, whatever I could do to help, like let me know. Like, it's not I trying to outdo you, you trying to outdo me. It's like, if we could grow together, how can we work together? How can we make this make sense for both of us? How can we all win? And that's what I'm about. So I serious. Like, if you want to do a class, like, let me know.
Okay,
I got the location. I got the equipment.
We're gonna talk, guys.
Let me know. Yeah. So I love that. And I think the first step is admitting and like speaking it into the universe, that you are saying it out loud, that this is what I want. That's the first step. Now it's like, what you doing? Like, how are we gonna make this happen? What's your plan? And there's like, you're doing your certification, right?
Yeah, so I started doing my NASM certification, so halfway through it right now. And after that, I just would like to start making programs and training people. But I think what I'm starting to realize is that what I can do is practice now on friends, family, and
best place to start.
That's really what I've been doing now. To be honest, I haven't made any profit from doing anything with helping, because I just don't really believe in like charging people if I'm still like learning. But I mean, to each his own. Some people might not agree, but I have been practicing on my friends, just realizing that, like, okay, wow, like, what you think in your head about if you can coach people, if you can guide people, they trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to trust yourself. Like at that point, you just have to trust yourself to go ahead and take that step. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I think what you're doing now is building that confidence in a situation where, or in an environment where you're not taking someone's money, you don't have that pressure. So you're getting comfortable with working with people, figuring out how you can best serve them. So that when it comes time that you're taking people's money, you're making them coins, that you confident, you ain't figuring it out on
That's
them.
True. That's true.
And I believe in that too. I did the same thing. I was training my friends, my family, my cousins before I started running programs. And when I did start running programs, like people was robbing me. I mean, I wasn't robbing me because that was the price I set, but it was like dirt cheap stuff, right? Like $30 a month, but they were like group programs.
Okay.
But I mean, looking back at it, I'm like, y'all owe me some money. But even that's the best thing. That's how you learn, and you grow, and you figure out what you like, what you don't like, what's your groove, what's your style of training, what people need.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of being in that space you're in. I think a lot of times people skip that, and they try and test things out on people that are paying. It don't always work out.
That's true.
You don't want to give people, especially a paying customer is a whole different league than a friend or family member. So if you could figure it out on them first, and then perfect your craft, perfect that formula, and then say, okay, and now I know what I'm doing. I know what I need to tweak. I know what I'm going to keep, and then you're ready to take that to market. Like that's cool. And you got people that are ready to now believe in you too, that can then spread the word and bring you business, right? Because they've been able to experience your services through working with them for that time too.
That's good. I've been thinking about it, and I was telling myself, like, you're practicing on your friends, and like, okay, doing that, but when you're gonna start? And I think hearing you say that has helped me to realize that, don't be too hard on yourself.
But what I would say is give yourself timelines. Like, I know you're saying you want to be done with your certification before you start, right?
Yeah.
So give yourself, when you want to be done with your certification. You have a date set for that.
Yeah, I already have a date set.
So you have a date set for that. What's the next date is, when do you now launch your program?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Right?
Okay.
What does that rollout look like? Do you need to do a campaign for that? Do you need to get photos taken? Do you need to create flyers? Where are you going to promote it? Who's going to promote it? I think having all that in place, and then holding yourself accountable, finding people to help hold you accountable to that stuff. That's what I found works for me. Like, I set dates and I reverse engineer. So if I'm going to launch something, like I did this in January, I was like, I want to launch this program in January. So I set the date for it. I recorded the promo video for it. Had not recorded anything for the program yet. But I was like, I know once I record the promo video, I put it out there, someone paid. I was like, I'm on the hook now. Someone ready and waiting for this program. So I got to have it done by January 13th. Like, that was literally my accountability to get it done. I was like, all right, I've already started promoting it. I put it out there that it's starting January 13th. Whether I got one person or 100 people, I got to do it, right? Because someone already paid. So I find that for me, that works.
Helps.
Setting dates, setting deadlines, and finding the best way to hold myself accountable. So I'm challenging you. Give yourself a date. When are you going to start promoting your services? When do you want? What's your targets for your first quarter or your first 3 months of training people? What's your availability, right? Because you're still working. Your full-time job. So what's your availability? What are your times? How many people can you realistically take on? And when's your goal to fill all those spots by? How are you going to fill them?
This is like crazy, because I used to be thinking about this in my head, the questions and stuff, and hearing.
You got to answer them.
Yeah, I know. And I honestly, I do plan, and I have been planning. I just haven't, how you say, set a date. That's what I have to do.
I think that's when you feel it.
That's probably the best type of advice that I've heard to say is set a date. Actually start having something in mind that, okay, that's actually, I have goals, like increments of like goals and what I need to do in that time frame to meet that deadline.
Give yourself dates, deadlines, and then you'll know, okay, if this is my deadline for launch, I need to have all my stuff that I need for launch done, which is that's your promotional stuff. If you're doing extra content to promote, flyers, whatever else you need for launch, you have to have it ready before that day. And so I find that works for me. And I tell people like I'm a very calendar person. I'm a calendar person.
Organized.
So I'm a calendar person. So if I put it in my calendar, it's like concrete.
Okay, cool.
So my way of holding myself accountable is sticking it in the calendar. And like I said, if it's something that I'm selling or something I want to create, I launch the sales for it in advance, and I get people to start paying for it so that I'm extra locked in, because now I can't like not deliver. I know that if it's just me, I'm be like, okay, I'm gonna push it back a week. I know I had it for this date, but I can push it back a week. But if someone's already paid to start on that date, I'm like, okay, well, I have to have it done,
Yeah, I have to come through.
I can't let them down. Like, that's literally my mindset. So that's my advice. Like, give yourself deadlines and dates. And then hold yourself accountable. Get people to hold you accountable to them too. True. Your people in your circle, in your your support system that you shared those goals with. That's what I found for me. It's been like I tell my husband, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. All right, don't let me not do this. Yeah. And he's pretty good with it. That's good. Sometimes a little rough, but but you need that sometimes.
Yeah, that's helpful. Trust me. That sounds like that's the key.
Yeah, it is. So you studied marketing. You said marketing at UB. When did you graduate UB?
I just graduated UB that was May. We walked in June. Yeah.
Oh, you recently graduated. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were on your journey while you were in UB.
Yes. Okay. So still going to the gym, still going to school and working. Yeah. Juggling all of those.
That's a lot.
It was a lot. I look back, I'm like, gee, yeah, I do that.
What made you decide marketing?
I think I've just always been into creating, I've always been kind of a creative person. So I was thinking, I want to do something creative. I worked in sales, and I was like, I want to be able to advertise. I want to be able to create for a job and just do something more hands-on instead of a boring admin job.
Yeah.
So I just realized that could be a field that I can.
You prefer a more creative space.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. That could be a field that I can see myself working in. Yeah.
I studied business as well in school. I studied business administration, international business. And my original plan was to go home and work for my dad's company. I grew up he has an event, tent rentals. I grew up in that company, since I could walk. But since I was maybe 8, 9, I was out there putting up tents with them.
Wow.
And transitioned as he grew. I transitioned, as I got older, I transitioned into the office space where I was in that not boring administrative role, because it was every day was different. It wasn't just the same old stuff. Some stuff was standard, but because the nature of the business, even different events, different things happening all the time, it was a pretty, I would say, interesting, it was always, it kept you on your toes, but I also was doing fitness on the side. Okay. And I was like, I really love fitness. And I found myself losing my passion for it a little bit because I was just so burnt out from doing so much that I decided, I know that I love fitness, and I know that it's just because I'm in this environment where I'm doing a lot that I need to choose. And that was a bit of a journey, deciding, okay, and actually saying it, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna have to step away from this to pursue it. But I found that my business background, even though the original plan was to go and take what I learned from, even though I feel like a business degree doesn't really teach you much about business. Anyway, that's another story. But I feel like my experience growing up in the family business really prepared me for running a business. Yeah. And I realized that I actually really love business itself as well.
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
Most elements of it, at least. Some parts I'm like, I'll keep that. But most of it I really enjoy. And I think you having a marketing background and wanting to get in, I think that's such a beautiful blend, because marketing and strategizing and building campaigns is something that a lot of people that I've talked to internationally and locally in the fitness space struggle with.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't think I'm the most creative person. And so, like, I lean on people that are creative to help me in creating things. I ask some of my friends that are a bit more in the creative space. I'm like, I feel like I'm an executor. Like, you give me the marketing plan, or you give me the idea and I can execute it. But like, you tell me sit down and think of something, I can be like, I don't know.
What ideas y'all love?
Yeah. So I think you have an advantage in that as well, that you're coming from a marketing and sales background. Like, you need that in any space you're in. And so I'd encourage you also to like leverage that, like leverage your experience in those spaces, what you see works, and what you think will work for you and your brand as well. Because you have that, like, if you could capitalize on that, you already have such a leg up than people in the space, because you have that under your belt.
Well, thank you for that. You know, I've thought about that and realized that, you know, you're doing the sales, you're doing the marketing for other people, like, you help in their business. You know, I gotta do it for myself. I have to go ahead and use those same skills and stuff to go ahead and pour into my brand. So that's definitely good advice.
If you, like I said, you have a leg up on definitely being in that space and working in that space. You have a degree in that.
Thank you.
So like leverage it, like milk that, like use it, because that's, especially you look at the climate and the space that we're in now, like that's what's driving everything. It's in different forms, and it's changed over the years, from the way that we market and the way that we sell. But I think the foundation and the principles are all the same. It's just now that the means through which we do it is we have to kind of be on top of it. But like, you there, like you in a real sweet spot, especially for the fitness space. Like, it's all about, and you're doing it now. So I think that was a big thing for me too. Like, I was similar to you in that, like, before I even thought about fitness as I want to make it a career, I was just sharing my journey. Yeah. It was just like, I love fitness and I just want to share. So like, I got an Instagram in 2012, sharing fitness and everything in between. And not until maybe 2014, I really started taking it seriously as like, okay, this could be actually something that I make money from. And when I did start, it was just really, all right, it's a couple extra dollars in my pocket to go shopping and get groceries while I was in school. And then I was like, well, maybe this could actually be like what I do. And so then I started really taking it a lot more, you know, seriously, and worked on the business side of it. But I think the fact that you've already been organically and genuinely sharing, like, you already have a community that you've built around just you sharing your journey. So it isn't like you're coming out the gate trying to sell people stuff and they just now also learning about you. They know you. Like, you've got a following and a community that already knows you for essentially giving them putting them on for free, right? Yeah. And so now when you come out and you say, look, like, I have these programs, I have these opportunities for you to work with me, in their minds, they're looking at you like, well, she's already given us 3 years or 2 years of free game. Like, she's been sharing her journey and her progress and her workouts with us for 2-3 years. So the least I could do is buy one little program, you know? Honestly, that's how people think.
Yeah. You know, I didn't think you were going to say that at the end, to say, like, let me go ahead and support. Like, I thought he was going to say, like, she been doing this for free. She ain't serious.
And now she wants to. No, but that's how people. Honestly, I have a lot of people that said, you know, I've been following you for the last 5-6 years, and they may not buy from me when they first start following me, but they realize, like,
been putting in the work.
Yeah, I've been putting, or, you know, I've given them
something that they can,
so much for free that they're like, you know, I could spend $60 on this.
Yeah, that's true.
I could pop $20 off and buy some bands, you know, like.
Because people will go ahead and be like, oh, I've been saving this. I did this workout. And like, okay, when are you going to post something like this to work out this? I'm like, hold on, y'all actually tuning in.
That's your audience. That's your first set of clients.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's crazy. I don't think people consciously do it all the time. It's sometimes a subconscious thing that they register, like, you know what, this person has helped me without me even asking and without them even knowing. And that's so, true. Yeah, I think they subconsciously feel like you did something for them and now they could do something for you. Or here's their way of now supporting because you supported them, even if you didn't plan to support them, you know, or it wasn't your intention. You just were posting because you wanted to post. Or you felt that someone may or may not find it beneficial. And I think that's also a leg up you have too. Like, you've already been building a organic community without asking for anything. I think that's what a lot of people make the mistake in fitness. They come in and they're like, all right, I'm here. Give me your money. Let me write your program. But like, nobody knows them. They don't have those genuine connections with people established, but you do. And so, like, I would say leverage that as well. Like, they like leverage the people that you have those connections with. Those same people that reach out to you and say, hey, are you going to do something like this? Or when are you going to post something like this? Like, those are the people you tap first, right? Because they're the people that are likely going to be receptive to whatever it is, because you've already helped them to get, you know, something out of what it is that you're sharing.
Thanks, girl. Thanks for the advice.
No problem. I already tell you. We got to set a date before you leave, but it's class.
Yes, we can talk.
What advice would you give someone that is just starting out in the gym?
Okay, so
like, it's their first day. They walking in. They're like, boy, they run straight for the treadmill because they're like, this. I know how to work this. I don't even know what this is. What's your best piece of advice?
I would say get out of your head. Easier said than done, definitely. But I would say, you know, you want to start that first week just being on the treadmill, just being on the Stairmaster. That's fine. I'm sure people have heard that quote of saying, like, oh, we'll go on the Stairmaster. You could watch other people, what they're doing, and, like, learn different things that they're doing and see what's going on to kind of get an understanding of, like, the gym. I think that's great advice. But I would also say what you're thinking, those thoughts that you have in your head that you don't know what you're doing, that you might look like a fool. People are gonna laugh at you. People are gonna judge you. You need to have the perfect outfit. All of that is just, that's not real. Because when you go in the gym, I promise you, like, nobody's thinking or watching you as hard as you're judging yourself. So just go ahead and leverage off of the people that are willing to give you advice. So not everybody who comes, I would say for females, not everybody that gives you advice or is going to help you, don't think that, like, they're hitting on you or they're just trying to cut up. Like, no, there are some men in the gym, especially men, because, you know, most of the time, the people who are going to help you most of the time for the first time is going to be a male. Not all the time they're trying to do that. Like, they're genuinely seeing you do something that could hurt yourself. So I would say take the advice and keep practicing and just be kind on yourself. You don't have to look all put together. When I post, I might have a cute outfit on, but 80% of the time, I am, like, just throwing something on and going with it. So, like, once you get comfortable, you can realize that you don't have to look all put together and stuff, and you don't have to have all your wardrobe with all your matching
all decked clothes out.
So that would be my advice. Just realize that you could be consistent with it. What you put in is what you're gonna get out. If you keep showing up for yourself, the results will come. So, and it's just a rewarding feeling overall. So definitely stick with it if you're trying to stay consistent, not just for the summer but for life,
forever and ever. I like that. And I agree. I think my advice for people starting out is don't compare your day one to someone's year 3. True. Someone's year 15. People are like, oh, DeKelly, I want to look like you. I'm like, I've been working out 15 years. Yes. If you look like me in a couple months, I can be offended. Yeah. Like, I don't put in 15 years of work. So I tell people, like, and, you know, there's so many different factors, genetics, whereas women, we fluctuate a lot. There's so many different things, just your body structure, like your natural body structure. Like, I'm never going to look like certain people, and certain people are never going to look like me. So I tell people, focus on your best self. What does that look like for you? And outside of aesthetics, like, like what else do you want from the gym? Like, is it actual health? Is it actual mental, you know, do you want that mental clarity? Do you want to have more energy? Like, what else do you want outside of the aesthetics? Because the aesthetics, as women, we can struggle forever, regardless of whether you look amazing. We always want better. We always want more. There's always, we could tweak this, we could change this, we could do this better. Never really. There's the same but proud but never satisfied. Like, you feel good, but you're like, I could go a little more. I could always do a little more. So, like, what else? I said, like, link your, I guess, success in the gym or your happiness with your fitness journey to not just how you look. Because if it's just based on how you look, you can be upset for a long time.
True.
So that's always my advice. Like, don't compare yourself. Focus on your own journey. Take the advice. I get a little weird with advice.
Really?
From people, like, people giving me advice.
Well, I guess, like, for how long you've been exercising?
Not even when I first started out, like, I'm a little weird because I have rules. If you can give me advice, you got to look better than me. I'm sorry. I know you could know more than me. You could have studied. You could be certified. That's just
yeah, that's true.
You got to look like you know what you're talking about. If you don't, then I can't trust you. I'm sorry. But I also have had, I feel like when I was younger, like, so I remember I started at 14. So, like, when I was younger, like, pre-20s, early 20s, I used to have guys come to me when I was in Freeport in the gym and be like, you know, you're doing this wrong. And I'd be like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not about to injure myself. So, and that's usually my rule of thumb when I decide to give someone advice. I'm like, unless they look like they're
about to injure
themselves. I've watched people get pinned under weights and, like,
then it's like,
stuff really bad stuff that may injure other people around them about to happen. I'm like, all right, I gotta step in now. Or I think just the way that you approach someone also is key. Like, if you're approaching from oh, you doing this wrong, you messing this up, that's different than, hey, do you mind if I give you some advice? Or, hey, I'm watching you do this, can I offer a suggestion? That's a totally different approach than, hey, you're doing this wrong.
And that's most of them, I ain't gonna lie. That's how they be most of the time.
Hey, you're doing this wrong?
You're doing that wrong.
Like, that can rub me the wrong way. Like, you're already coming at me in a negative tone. Like, ask me if I'm interested. My gym in Freeport actually had a sign on the mirrors that said, give advice to those who ask for it, not those who ignore it. And I took that to heart because I was so when the person came to me and was like, hey, you're doing this wrong, I pointed straight to that sign and he left me alone. But I think so, yeah, that's I do agree though, like, being open to criticism, especially when you're just starting out. Like, when I started out in the gym, I kind of had people to guide me. My first 6 months to a year, I was working out under people until I felt comfortable enough to go and do my own stuff. So I had a pretty solid foundation. I learned a bit myself as well, and through playing sports, learned a bit from my coaches and my friends working out with me. But I think just always being willing to learn, even if it isn't from someone else. Like, do your research. There's so much out there. You can get apps, you can get on YouTube and TikTok. Research YouTube. There's so much. Like, there's really no excuse. Even though sometimes I feel like it can be overwhelming. If you know your specific goals, I think that makes it a bit easier to kind of figure out what you want to look for, what you want to search for. But I agree with that too, like, not being afraid to learn, whether that's from someone in the gym space or someone online.
Yeah, that's true. And how you said there's resources online, like, there are the resources online. I know y'all might be lazy to look it up.
No shortage.
But there's 30-second videos. I be in the gym to this day. I'll be doing any type of exercise and I be looking it up before I do it, and it's beneficial. It helps. So yeah, but I mean, you and that feedback, the people coming up to you, 50% of the time they might rub you the wrong way, but
50 is generous. I feel like it's like 80%
of the time. Now that I think about it, there has not been enough people that came with that humble approach of, hey, do you mind?
Or just say, ask me if I want your help, because you don't know what maybe I do want to train in this plane of motion. Maybe this is.
You know what? I just, like, last week I was doing this exercise and I didn't know I was doing this exercise. I was doing the glute hyper extensions on the, like, you go ahead and do your back. And I was doing it for my glutes. So
and they send you flat in your back.
It's like flat in your back. You're doing it wrong. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, little does this lady
You don't know what I'm doing, sis.
I am targeting a whole nother muscle.
You should have told her that.
Okay. And I was just thinking, okay, like I just let her say, and then I went back to doing it how I was. But that's true. Sometimes people be giving you wrong advice, not even knowing what you're doing. But I guess for the beginners who we know y'all doing the lat pull down for your back, like,
yeah,
and you doing
certain things you should be. There's only one way to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
Or something you ask. What I do sometimes is I'll walk. If I see someone, and it takes a lot out of me to do it because I know I don't typically like when people approach me. So I'll say, hey, what are you working?
Okay.
And they'll tell me, or if they start to take really long to answer, sometimes I don't even know. They're just doing something they saw somewhere and they figure it's for something. So I'm like, what are you working? And they're like, oh, back. I'm like, okay, well, here's a tip, do this. And they're like, cool. But I mean, I guess it's a bit different coming from a trainer than just a random person.
Yeah.
But still, I'm still mindful of how I approach. It's not just you doing this wrong or what are you doing? Like, I think coming at them from a place of, I ask the question, like, can I help you? Can I assist you? Can I offer you some advice? Like, that ain't hard to say.
Yeah, that's true. Some courtesy.
But I think some people are just kind of they want to come from a place of like power and knowledge and like, yeah, like I'm here to correct you. Let me save you. Like, please.
Sit down.
Please. Yeah, but I get that. What I want to hear, like, do you feel like the fitness space, I mean, this is more specific to social media. Do you feel like there is I don't even know how I want to phrase it without saying what I'm trying to say. Do you feel like there's... Oh, let me ask you, how do you feel about, I guess, the fitness influencer space?
Trying to sip again.
Do you consider yourself a fitness influencer?
I would say yes and no.
Why not?
Mainly, because I feel like to be kind of an influencer, you kind of have to have more deals, and you kind of have... No, you don't think so? Okay, well, without that, then I would say kind of yeah. Mostly yes. Let me be confident with my answer.
Please, thank you.
Yes. But I would say there's a good side to it. There are people that are genuine, that want to go ahead and show correct tips. They're also certified, or if they're not certified, they actually know what they're showing.
Knowledgeable, yeah.
They can prove it. They do their research. I love that side. Now there's the other side that's gonna be like, I just want y'all to see that, like, I look good, and maybe they're genetically blessed and they already have a big lead over others, and they just start, and they only do legs. I would say it could be somewhat annoying to see that, like, pushed, and they get pushed more, and they get more views. The BBL girlies, they get more views, they get more support from brands, and people in general, like, they think they want to look like that, and they follow that, and it's like, this is not real. Like, this is not real, guys.
Yeah.
I know that this is pushed more, this type of look is pushed more, but at the end of the day, like, unless you go on that surgery table, like, you're not gonna look like this if you keep doing these exercises. Yeah,
they ain't doing the exercise they're showing you. I think that's the side that I feel like I'm seeing a lot more. And I don't know. My thing is, I have nothing against people that decide to get surgery. My issue is when you get it and you're not transparent about it.
Yeah,
or you get it and you're trying to sell someone a program to say you can look like this if you do this, when you haven't done this to look the way you do.
Exactly.
I think that's my thing. Like, but I've seen people that have gotten surgery and have decided to tailor their fitness towards people that are either looking to get surgery or have it. And I'm like, I respect that, because you're being real. You're like, you know what, genetically I would never get this shape. I get that. You want that shape, cool. You had the resources and the ability, the desire to go and pay for it, cool. And now you're transparent enough to tell us, this is what I did, and share that journey with people, and this is how I'm now maintaining the surgery. I respect that. But someone that does all of that and then turns around and tells me they did it naturally through this 8-week program, I can be like, look, sis, no, you spent 8 weeks recovering. Okay. I think that's the side. And I think for me, like, I honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the term influencer. I think I've learned to just kind of adopt it, but essentially an influencer is anyone that's able to influence, right? To get someone to subscribe to what it is that they're doing, to follow, to engage with, and take action based on what they're doing. And so that's why I said, even if you don't have brand deals or you ain't out there as much as some of those people, like if you have people that are following you, that are tuning into your content, that are deciding to do the workouts that you post, that are asking you, when are you going to post this? That, like, essentially that's you're influencing them, that's right? True. You're encouraging them, influencing them to take action based on what it is that you provide, what it is that you show. But yeah, I mean, and then what I actually talked about this on my story the other day, like, I just feel like there's so much negativity in the influencer space. Like, everything is from don't do this, you're doing this wrong.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm just like,
I watched your story, but I caught it towards the last end, so I watched like your last story,
the last clipping.
And I was like, I wanted to message you, be like, what were you talking about before that? Because I just missed it. But that is heavy on social media.
It's just like, I mean, across industries, like, I've seen it, and because I watch a lot of, like, I mean, from dog videos to babies to fitness, like, everybody's like, you could see a cute baby dancing in the rain or a dog running across like a pool cover or something. Everyone's like, you have a couple I feel like this is probably my fault too, because I read comments, but people are like, this is unsafe for this dog. This is unsafe for the child. If it's not the comments, it's the actual video itself. I think in fitness, I've been seeing a lot more like, you're doing this wrong. Don't do this. Y'all doing this. Y'all need to stop doing this. I'm like, there's a way to relay this information without being so negative. But I think we're so inclined to watch negativity. And I think I have to now, like, learn to, like, retrain my brain to, like, not gravitate towards that. Because I'm like, you had to do all that to say that.
I know. And I think a lot of people, especially if we're talking about fitness people that go ahead and respond to critique what they just watched, it's almost like they do it to get a one-up on the person to say, like, this person doesn't know what they're doing, but hey, I do, and y'all need to follow me so that I can go ahead and get y'all money.
Yeah, I'm the one that knows more. Yeah. But I don't know if you follow Brett. You follow Brett, Booty Lab.
Oh my
Brett,
gosh, oh my gosh.
But my thing is, like, he actually has the research. He has a PhD, and he has the research papers, has done years of studies on some of these things, and people will turn around and be like, why you shouldn't be doing this thing and why this is better than the next. And I'm so happy he started clapping back, because people need to realize that you can't just come for people's whole study. Like, that's literally his life's work.
Yeah.
Like, he studied, researched, released papers, years and years of research, and you want to turn around because you got a camera and a mic and tell people they doing something completely wrong when you have no research, just because you feel like you're talking opinions over actual research. I think that, and then the fact that there's so much information in the fitness space and stuff changes so much, like, it's hard to come out, or I would say it's hard, but it shouldn't be standard to come out and just, like, bash stuff. Like, I think there's a way you can come out and have a conversation about it. You can come out and tell your opinion about it. You can come out and say your thoughts on it, but, like, you ain't got to come out like crapping on people. Like, I agree. But I think we've become, I think people have become so obsessed with, like, just, like, trash talking. And I'm just like, when did I sign up for this?
I know.
Like, where's the other side of this?
Canceling people.
Yeah. Or, like I said, like, having to be right. Having to have the one-up on somebody. Like, you think you know it, but you don't. I know it. I'm like...
Or just because that worked for you, like, it works for everybody. Who knows? That's a big thing. What you thought was working might have just been your genetics.
Yeah. And then what I've learned, like, especially in the fitness space, like, you have everybody's body makeup is different. So longer torsos, shorter torsos, longer legs, more hip flexibility, less hip. So a full range for you is going to look different than a full range for me, maybe. It's not going to be identical. Or certain positions, foot positions on squats may be better for me because I have super tight hips versus you that doesn't. So, like, someone saying this specific stance is superior, is the best. And I watch that and I'm like, I know that ain't superior for me because my hips can be crying. Like, I can hurt something. But people are kind of like, this is the best way. This is the only way. And reality, exercise and fitness in general is not a one size fits all. Like, everybody's body doesn't respond the same way. Me and you could do the same exact program for 3 months and have totally different results just because our bodies respond.
So just realizing that my results are not going to look like theirs, my body makeup, my genetics. Like, if I'm being honest, as somebody that has PCOS myself, you know, I'm going to look different than people that, you know, are blessed and don't. And I might bloat different from other people. And you just have to understand that what people post and does not, like, that's not necessarily going to be you. And there's nothing wrong with you feeling that way, but then you kind of have to get out of that rut and look at different factors and understand how you are is different from somebody else. That doesn't mean you don't put in the work. That doesn't mean that, you know, you still can't try and you still can't keep pushing towards that goal, but
the time frame may be different and the way you get there is going to be different.
Definitely
you brought up PCOS. I actually had my friend come on a couple episodes ago, Candace Carter. You probably don't follow bodybuilding, but if you do, she was like top 2 in the world for a long time, and she has PCOS as well. She talks about her struggles with competing with PCOS and how she had to work pretty much like 10 times harder because of it. Have you found, when did you find out that you had PCOS? Because when I talked to her, like, I know a little bit about it because I think in recent years it's become a bit more common, people talking about it. But she said, you know, when she was diagnosed, it took a long time for her to actually get diagnosed. And then when she was, no one really knew anything about it.
Okay.
So I want to know, like, when did you get diagnosed? What made you, I guess, like, was there a situation where you were like, something is off, I want to see what's going on? Like, talk me through that.
Yeah, so I would say there was a period just last year, I went ahead and got checked into it, checked myself into a doctor to go ahead and look into it. But I would say last year, my cycle just was not regular. Now, I always have irregular cycles, but it was like I was getting a period, I want to say every 3 months, and that wasn't normal for me. So I was thinking, hey, like, something wrong. I would feel kind of always bloated, kind of some type of uncomfortability, like, in my pelvic area. And I don't really struggle with facial hair, but I was getting, like, a lot of acne, like, around, like,
hormonal
acne in this area, like jawline and stuff. So I went ahead and went to a doctor. You know, they examined me, and he was like, well, you don't have your PCOS isn't as bad as others. Like, it's kind of more on the
mild side.
Yeah. But he showed me, like, where I have, like, small little cysts, and he was saying, you know, this is why you're probably missing your period and stuff. And he was saying that, you know, it might be difficult for you to get pregnant, but there's ways around it, and then you just have to eat healthier. He was more of a kind of pushing more just what you eat, like what you put in your body, like, you know, don't stress out too much, just try to work in your nutrition, try to eat more balanced meals. And ever since then, I realized that it actually is something that can change. And if you eat healthy, if you have a balanced diet and you watch what you put into your body, like, your cycle can become regular. Now, it isn't to this day, it still isn't as regular like as I would like it to be, but it's better than where I was. Good. Yeah. So it's hard, man, because sometimes I be working out and I'm like, man, my friend that don't have PCOS, like, she look like her stomach always flat and all that. I'm like, okay, D, be real with yourself. Like, you actually have this issue. Give yourself grace. Don't use it as a way to step back and be like, I'll never look like this. I'll never get there. Just put in the work. And like how you said that your friend had to like work harder, I'm realizing that you have to work harder to go ahead and reach those goals that you want. Because, boy, sometimes I feel like I be putting in work and I ain't getting anywhere.
I feel you. I feel you. But yeah, she, my friend, she knew she had it before she retired. Okay. So she said, you know, she was competing for a few years. She realized her body wasn't responding like it usually would at certain like checkpoints in her preparations. And so she went and got checked out, had to go around quite a bit to get the actual answers, and then had to do a lot of research on her own. Same thing, she knew that she would have some challenges with getting pregnant, and a few years later she decided to retire and wanted to start a family, and had those challenges with getting pregnant. And so she has, I would say she has a bit more severe, you know, I guess on state of PCOS. But she's very passionate about like educating people on it and creating more awareness about it, because I, like, aside from a few clients that had it, and again, to what you said, the importance of nutrition, like, I had to tailor specific plans for those clients because they couldn't eat the same style that clients that didn't have it. Like, it was a group program that I was running. I created like just like a healthy eating guide. But my client that had PCOS, I had to create something separate for her, because she was like, certain things she just, like, she stays away from, and, you know, to help manage her PCOS. So I mean, I just thought it was interesting, because I think it is a sign that you were able to go and you notice those symptoms, and you're able to go and get answers right away, speaks to the fact that it is more recognized now.
It is.
Versus when my friend, I think she got diagnosed maybe in 2015, 16. So it's showing that, I mean, she's in the States where you would think like they, you know, would be on it. But she's like, no, most people, they gave her like a brochure and was like, figure it out.
It's still taboo, you know, and I still got that brochure, and I still feel like
you had to do your own research.
To be honest, it kind of still was like that. And I still felt like I was told, you have this, but it wasn't really like,
what do you do now?
And here's what will cure it, because apparently there is no cure.
There's no cure,
So it's just, you know, I think I'm starting to realize what you put into your body can go ahead and have negative effects, positive effects. And, you know, food is a source of medicine, and I'm just trying to tailor my nutrition, what I eat, to go ahead and like regulate my hormones, and just praying about it, being like, God, you know, one day I want a family, bless me.
I mean, I think like you said, being on top of it, you know, now, and like, you know, the steps to help manage it. Because my friend, she went through all kind of fertility treatments and stuff, and none of them worked. Like at least 2 years or a year. And when she decided to take a break was when she actually got pregnant. So naturally. Crazy. So so
does she still compete? Or no, you said she retired.
She's retired. She's been retired since I think 2018, 2019. For a little while now she's been retired, but I don't know. I tell her I think she may go back to the stage, but I don't think so. I think she loves motherhood and that new stage of her life too much. I think competing is such a selfish sport. Bodybuilding is such a selfish sport, and regardless of how much you try to balance your life in prep, it's something suffers. And thankfully, like, my husband he used to compete as well, so he understands, and like, he's very supportive of preps. But for me, sometimes it's friendships that suffer, it's other relationships that suffer, business sometimes. For me, like, you know, something always gets the shorter end of the stick when you're in prep for those. I do 16 weeks, so you have to really
16 weeks, like, really? Why I feel like this would be longer. And I hear
some people
say,
prep longer. I do 16.
Okay,
12
cool.
is typically the standard, though. Like, if you're already in the space, yeah, 12 to 16.
I don't know why I thought it would take longer. I guess
my very first one, I did like 20-something weeks, and I said never again. Yeah, my very first, but it was my first time, so I was like, I wanted to see how fast my body would respond. So a lot of it wasn't super intense. But yes, 12 to 16.
And I guess the more you're consistent, like you don't have to go.
Yeah, once you've built and you've gotten to like the muscle, you've gotten acquired the muscle that you want. It's really just a matter of stripping away the fat. So you ain't trying to like build muscle on prep. You're just trying to get what's underneath the fluff for the most part. So yeah, once you've done it a few times, you kind of know, okay, what's the sweet spot. So I used to do 12, and then my coach was like, no, you need more time. Yeah. And so I bumped it up to the 16. But yeah, so she's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna, she don't want to spend time away from her family and like sacrifice watching, her son's only maybe 2 now, about to be 2. So she's like, I want to be there for all those like critical moments. So I think maybe like when everyone's a bit older. Yeah. You never know. But yeah, that's I think I'm hoping, I know she's a big advocate for PCOS, and so she's a part of, I think it's PCOS Challenge, which is an organization that helps like bring awareness to it and provide resources for people with it, to manage it and you know, overcome some of the struggles of it. But I know she's very passionate about just spreading the word more about it, so people don't. She said she felt really alone in it, like in that, you know, especially with bodybuilding, like she felt really alone and like didn't know where to turn to get the answers that she wanted. And so I think even though I know you said you still got your brochure, I do think that the fact that you were able to get diagnosed like as quickly as you were, versus her having to go to, she said she went to like 3-4 doctors before someone even brought up PCOS. Everyone was just like, nothing's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. And she's like, she knew because she was so in tune with her body that something was off. And I think that's also a credit to just being active and being in tune with your body, right? Because I tell people, I always know when something's off with me because I'm in the fitness, like I'm on my fitness journey. I know when my body is at its best, and I know when like something's it's off, whether that's because I was drinking or eating bad. Like I know when I'm not 100%, and I know when I'm good. So for her, I think, it was that body awareness that I think you can only really get from, not only really get, but I think that fitness really puts you in tune with your body and what's going on. I know a lady that was a runner, and she was like, she would run religiously. She'd run marathons. She was training for a marathon, and she said one day she just for like a couple days, maybe 2-3 days, she was realizing like the same route she was running just felt super hard, and she didn't know what's going on. Nothing really changed as far as diet, routine, getting the same amount of sleep. So she was like, her body was telling her something was wrong. She went to the doctor. They ran tests. She found out she had cancer.
Oh my God.
So like, I think, but think about that. If she didn't have that routine, that fitness routine, didn't have anything to measure that by, she probably wouldn't have known.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have gotten checked.
Not that she caught it in like early stages. Yeah. So she was able to like get the treatments, beat it really early. But I think you have a lot of people that wait until it's like stage 3, stage 4, and it like actually starts beating them down, wearing them down. And that's when they go, or they wait until they go for their annual, when they've had it for the whole year, you know?
And that's a blessing with fitness. I never really thought about it that way. But I guess when you in a routine and you know when something's off, versus somebody who they haven't been active,
or they feel bad all the time. So I've heard people say that, like, and
their bad is normal for them.
Yeah, they always feel breakup and mash up, but it's like, like when like for me, I had some hormonal issues I had done like preps back to back for almost a year. Like I would never do this again, but I put my body through. I was literally on prep from like January to October one year. Did like 5 or 6 shows in that year. And when I came off of prep, I just was wilding out, eating whatever, loving myself. But after going, dieting so strict for those months, my hormones just went wild, because it went from this super restricted, super clean, to now eating whatever. Like I put on like almost like 40 pounds in 2 months. Like wilding, and I was still working out through all of this.
Crazy.
But my body, I was just always tired. I just felt so bad. Like, my joints were hurting.
Wow.
Went to the doctor. He was like, yeah, your hormones out of whack. You need to go on medication.
How recent was that?
That was years ago. That was probably 2016. But yeah, like, I mean, I knew my body. Like, I was getting enough sleep. I was in my regular routine.
You was eating kind of good.
I was eating horrible, but so at first I thought it was that. But even when I started cleaning up my nutrition, I still wasn't feeling any better. And I had done that same thing, not same thing. I'd done a similar thing. I've been competing at that point for like 2 years. So this was my third year now competing. And I had prepped, and then when you come off prep, you enjoy yourself, but you still train. You still, in some moderation, you enjoy yourself, and then, you know, you're still kind of on some sort of routine regimen with eating and training. So I had done that before, but never to that degree to where I was restricted for so long. And I think that's really what the dangerous thing was. So after that happened, I was like, okay, I vouched to not do more than 2 shows a year, and I would space them out, and I would make sure that I wasn't, like, you know, putting my body under all that stress for so long, because it took a really long time for me to get back to like
that's
myself.
What I was gonna ask, like, how long it took.
So that I realized that I found out that my hormones were out of whack, let's say December. I went back, oh no, maybe not December, maybe October. I went back into prep in like January. So 3 months after I was on medication, I went back into prep. My body did not really respond very well to like the stuff that I would typically do. So it took my body like at least another 8-9 months to like start to really respond. And I did compete before my body really got back to its like normal state. So I look at those photos, I'm like, the guy was not ready.
Yeah.
But I did compete within that time, and I gave myself, I would say by a full year was when I felt like myself again. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I ain't doing that no more.
Yeah.
So that taught me my lesson. So but I used to be really bad. Like, I would just binge after shows just because I was like, I can. Like, I'm not restricted. I would do at least
catching up on all that.
At least 2 days of just like junk, and then I would feel horrible.
Good, though? Like, would it feel good? Like you would feel horrible?
Yeah.
Really? Like, how bad binging though? Like, what is binging like after? Like, because I be thinking, I see them eating that one cookie, and I'm like, that's it. After
I used to go. So I'm not as bad. I would just get like a meal, something that I wanted to eat that I didn't eat for a long time. But I would like go to Walmart. If I was competing in the States, I'd go to Walmart or a store and get a trolley full of chips, cookies, Reese's, Sour Patch, like junk food, Oreos, like flavored Oreos, king size Reese's, Flamin' Hot Cheeto, like junk. And I would sit down after my show and just like work my way through all of that, plus whatever I ordered out. I would go and get like burgers, ice cream. Within like that week, or I would say between like 3 days of my competition, I would have probably ate everything that I wanted to eat, and like just felt like I could not move. How like gross. And so I tried, like, after about 2 years of doing that after shows, and then but the thing was, I would do that, and then a couple weeks later I'd be back in prep. So in my mind I was like, well, let me enjoy myself because I can be back in prep. And then after that time my hormones went out of whack. I was like, I can't do this no more. Because it was bad. Like, that's the worst I physically felt, like physically and mentally felt like ever. And I was like, I don't want to feel that no more. I don't want to have to go back on that medication. It used to make me nauseous, and it was bad. So I was like, the God, remember how this feel. You don't need to be back here.
We ain't going back out.
Yeah, and it was rough. Like, dropping, I think that was the heaviest. Like, even when I started my fitness journey, I was, I don't know, like 140 pounds. I put on some muscle, even through bodybuilding. I put on some muscle. So like my base, like, started in a prep, I may be around 150, 160. But after my hormones went out, I got up to like 180 something. And I was like, I've never been that heavy. And I felt it. Like,
I could imagine.
I felt it in my joints. I was trying to like work out and do like box jumps and stuff. I felt it, and I was like, this ain't for me. Get it together.
I'll never get it again.
Yeah. I was like, and it's all I can't blame nobody. It's me. It's all me. Yeah.
That's so interesting though, because like I would think that would like never happen to you.
I don't know, it's rough. Like but that was a wake up call for me. That was like, well, so when I think about, I mean, I haven't had the desire to like binge like that since then, just because I was like, it really ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Like the stuff, my thing is that the food can always be there. Like, and then a lot of times the stuff that I think I want, I don't even really want. It's just like, I wanted it because I thought I couldn't have it. But when I actually get it, it's like, this ain't even that good.
Yeah.
Like, this don't even taste
me.
that good.
I think, like, really, was it worth it? Like, really? You got it now. Is it worth it? Yeah. That's what I be thinking too. Trust me.
And then stuff that makes me feel bad after I eat it, I'm like, remember how this feel, because when you want it again, remember this. Like, so like a lot of like fried stuff, I gotta really, really want it. Like, so where I have a sit down and have a conversation. Like, is it worth it? What are you gonna do tomorrow that's gonna put these calories to use, put this energy to use? I have to have a conversation with myself to make sure it's like, all right, you know this can make your stomach hurt. Yeah. You can feel bad tomorrow, but is it worth it? Sometimes it is.
Okay, good.
Most times it's not. But yeah, I had to come out of that. I think maybe because I was younger too, like just not having that discipline in that area. Yeah, it took some time for me to develop that. But
so, what would you say, like, to curb your cravings? Like, what would you go ahead and, like, do with someone like me, for example? Like, I'll just meal prep and just try to have, like, my snacks and stuff ready on hand. But, like, what works for you?
What do you tend to crave? Like,
I'll crave sweets.
Sweets? So I found, for me, I have a sweet tooth too. So like keeping some sort of fruit in my routine usually helps. Like I find eliminating sugar altogether makes you crave it more. So I'd have like blueberries or some sort of fruit in my breakfast typically to like start my day. If I find I really want something else sweet, I'll keep Greek yogurts and like berries on hand too. And that usually will curb it. But I find like keeping myself busy, I find when I'm idle and I have free time, that's when I tend to want. So keeping myself busy and going to sleep early. Wow. The longer I stay up, even to this day, like I'm not on prep now, so like I have that flexibility. But if I stay up past like 9-10 o'clock, I can be in the fridge looking for something. Yeah. Like even if it isn't the worst meal ever, like I feel like I have to be eating something the later it gets. So I find like keeping myself busy and occupied on something and going to sleep early.
On time.
Yeah.
So sleep early is like 8 o'clock for you, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
But I get up early. I get up like between 4 and 4:30.
Okay. So I get up like 4:45.
What time do you go to sleep?
Like 10.
That's late.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you got at least 6 hours, right?
Yeah, because when I come home from work like 5:30, I don't know, like
what you be doing for 5 hours?
Girl, Netflix, I study, I talk to my boyfriend, spend time with my family, eat. I don't know. I just be mostly trying to catch up on the time that I miss at my job, like to do the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. But I feel it like when that 4:45.
You don't want to get up, eh?
But I want to get in that routine. I feel like that would be.
I think 9.
Okay. 8 to 9.
Yeah, I think 9:30. I get in bed around 8.
Even
I'm
on
usually
weekends?
sleeping. Weekends, I'm up a bit later because I don't have to go to bed as early.
Okay.
So, but even then, my body's so used to being in bed early that if I'm up late, I'm just like, if I ain't doing something, then it's hard. So typically on the weekends, we may stay up and watch Netflix or, it ain't a rush to go to sleep. But like through the week, I try not to like turn the TV on and stuff because I know if I have it on, I'm gonna stay up and I can be mad when it's time to get up. But yeah, the weekends we'll stay up a bit later. Ethan gets up even earlier. He gets up at like 3:30. Yeah. So he gotta be in bed to function.
Oh
yeah.
What y'all doing up at 3 o'clock?
I don't be up at 3 o'clock. He's be up at 3 o'clock. He's start his day, workout, run.
But he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes earlier, between 7:30 and 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's an early household.
Very. Through the week, we in bed. If we don't keep phones in the room too. So like, if you message me at 8,
I love that.
You message me at 8:30. I ain't see that till the next day. I message you back at 4:30 in the morning because I ain't gonna see that. Yeah, we don't on the weekends or if we out, we're up. Yeah. But like if we home, we shutting down like 8 o'clock.
Cool, though. Yeah, because it's like y'all time and then go sleep.
Shut
no
down.
Distractions.
Shut down. Passed out. I can't.
What about the alarm though? Oh, because you have an alarm.
So we have a actual alarm clock.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we decided no phone, that was his thing. He watched some video on social media that was like, don't put your phones in the room. That's a great way to ensure you get better sleep, better connection with your partner, blah, blah, blah. So he got an actual physical alarm clock that it's like an old school, but like a fancy one because it reflects the time onto the ceiling in like a red light.
Nice.
So you don't have to like look over at the clock. Yeah. You just look up at the ceiling and you see the time.
Okay.
No, like all night.
Okay.
But it's not like an invasive light. It's just like if you look up, you'll see it.
Yeah.
So like when I roll over and I don't know what time it is, I'll just look up and see how much longer I have to sleep.
And it didn't fail y'all yet, like it never.
No, he I didn't know how to work it, so I say, hey, set the alarm for this time for me. And so Monday through Friday, it's set at my time and his time. So his goes off at 3:30. I don't even hear that.
Really?
That's how knockout eyes be.
Yeah.
Or he usually is up before it sometimes, so he'll turn it off as soon as it goes off. But yeah, we have that, and if something, yeah, the weekends is not set. So whatever time I wake up.
Okay.
So this morning I had to get up kind of early, like 6. And so I kept like pitching up every couple of minutes, like, because I know I didn't have an alarm set. But for the most part, we don't have to usually get up super early.
Yeah. I like that though. No phones.
Yeah. I recommend it. It definitely helps me. I used to be one of them that sleep. I used to sleep my phone on my pillow.
Yeah, that's me.
Or at my bedside. Yeah. Well, when we were long distance, like I would literally fall asleep on the phone under the pillow, all of that. And now it's like, it's honestly, I feel like I used to also wake up in the middle of the night and just check it.
Yeah.
Just because I'd see it lighten up, or it could be an email from a shoe company sending me an advertisement, like nothing important. But I open it and then I get lost swiping, and then you're up and watching. Yeah. And all that affects the quality of sleep too. Even TV. I try to not watch it before I go to sleep because I find that I don't sleep as good if I do.
Yeah. Like I'm a TV watcher, but like I'm not. Like I have to find a good show, and if I'm done with that show, and I'll go months sometimes.
What are you watching? What are you watching now?
I'm watching Beef. Did you watch Beef?
I want to start it. Oh my God, how many episodes is it? I love Ali.
Who? That's a producer.
Ali Wong is.
I need to look.
The female.
Like messy. Oh, okay. The actress.
She's
killing that role.
I love her. She's a comedian.
Oh, really?
So me and Ethan, we have a thing. We watch a lot of Netflix comedy specials.
Okay.
And she had at least 2 or 3.
Okay, I could see her being a comedian. Because
she had another Netflix movie a couple years ago that was pretty good too. I think she produced. I think she's one of the co-producers on Beef too. But I know she produced a movie with Keanu Reeves a couple years ago. It's like a comedy, so it kind of like silly.
But this is kind of like a comedy too. But it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's like, and I like Netflix shows that are like 35 minutes. Like not too long.
Yeah, you could watch a couple and then go back later. Yeah.
But it's like, oh my gosh.
Are you finished Beef?
I'm episode 7.
Well, you're almost there.
So I have 3 more episodes left, but 10 out of 10.
Yeah, my thing is with series, like I feel the need to binge.
Oh yeah.
When I start it, I can't I don't want to stop. Yeah. So like I need to start from Sunday morning and finish it Sunday afternoon. Yeah. That's my thing. So I prefer like comedy specials and movies because I know an hour and 45 minutes I done. Yeah. I got to go back and figure out, and then these series like to leave you at the cliff at the end of the season,
and that's almost every episode of the show, and it didn't catch me. That's why I've been going to like 10:30, 11 this week.
I watched the last series I watched, I actually did finish it, was Wellmania.
Okay.
Wellmania with the Australian actress.
I need something good.
It was good enough to like keep me like wanting to know what happened next, but it also ended on like where they have to have a season 2.
Okay, all right.
So that kind of upset me, but
So give me like a good show I could watch after this.
Shame. Series?
Yeah, series.
You've watched Money Heist?
No.
Oh my gosh, you're 4 seasons behind then. The only thing with Money Heist is a great storyline. Only thing you have to get over is that the sounds don't match the mouth.
Oh. Okay.
And as annoying as that may
but it's good enough to get
it's
past
such
it.
a good storyline,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
such a good storyline, yeah. But I like Money Heist. Did you watch You?
Yeah.
I haven't watched the last season of it.
I watched like halfway through the last season.
I watched halfway through the second season. So
Okay, yeah.
no, and I was like, there's too much going on. First season was really good. But yeah, I haven't watched much more than honestly.
You don't sound like you be like
I
too
watched
much
some
into Netflix.
I watched some weird not weird because it was actually pretty interesting. Kim's Convenience. And now Netflix thinks that we are Asian because it's like an Asian family that owns a convenience store in Canada, and it's like it's a very light. We like to watch light stuff before we go to sleep.
Okay.
Stuff that ain't gonna have you dreaming about the thing.
Okay. No reality TV. No Love is Blind.
No, I watched first season Love is Blind.
I need to watch the last season. It was good.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't need to be caught up in nobody drama, but yeah, I'm not a big series. It has to be really good.
Yeah,
and we watched that
too.
Kim's Convenience thing just because it was like, let's just try it. And then it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Kind of corny too. And now Netflix keeps suggesting like Asian sitcoms. And I'm just like, I think they think we're Asian.
But you can love beef.
Yeah, I do want to watch it. Maybe we'll start it.
Yeah, start it. Let me know how it goes.
I shall. All right, DeAnna, we got some this or that questions.
Okay. Cool.
Rapid fire. No debating, no thinking too long.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you trying to look at my paper? Do you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Me too. Look, we connect on that. Sweet or savory? You just said this. Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm a sweets person too. Do you prefer cats or dogs?
Dogs.
We on the same page. Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Same.
I can't walk in heels.
You can't walk in heels?
No. That's
like
why
at
I
all?
could never.
Not even chunky heels?
Okay, yeah. But not like
Stilettos.
sexy heels. No, I be looking foolish.
Sexy heels just be uncomfortable too. I like if it ain't have a chunky heel.
But I just want to look like
I
I ain't uncomfortable, you know?
I got you. Do you prefer free weights or machines?
Free weights.
Yeah. What's your favorite lift?
I would say, maybe. I would say, and this is gonna be so like people are gonna be like, what? Because I like Bulgarians because I feel like I die in, but I like it, and then I like RDLs.
Okay, RDLs I understand. Bulgarians just they need to throw them away.
I don't know. I just feel like I did something with my life after I did that.
You like torturing yourself. That's the word. You like torture. The baby would say you like bad treatment. Do you prefer wine or cocktails?
Cocktails.
What's your favorite cocktail?
I like a margarita and a lychee.
Oh, with tequila.
Yeah, but I love margaritas. Yeah.
I'm a mojito.
Okay.
I like mojitos. Yoga or Pilates? Have you ever done Pilates?
I've never done Pilates.
I have it on my list to do.
Okay. Have you done it here?
No.
In Nassau? No? Okay.
No, I don't really know that many people that teach it here. I know there's a studio. There used to be another studio. There used to be like 2 or 3 studios. I don't know. Everyone that I see doing it just look at they struggling. And
yeah.
I'm like,
how is it though?
I've never done it.
Oh, I thought you meant like maybe in the States who did it.
No, I've never. I've never done it at all. But I've seen people here do it.
Mm-hmm.
I said if I were to try it, I probably would try it in the States.
Yeah.
So nobody know me. What else I have for you? Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
Really?
Yes, I love.
Why do you like TikTok?
It's just like you don't have to think hard about it. Like I feel as if Instagram people try to be more extra,
too calculated. Yeah.
TikTok is
I do like
real raw.
I do like TikTok for that.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta be doing a bunch of editing and fancy stuff.
Exactly. I feel like TikTok editing is hard though. I gotta learn it. I don't know. Maybe I just gotta do it in CapCut or something and then post it.
I kept cutting it up. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, anyway, I can leave that alone.
It's pretty easy though. It's not really that hard.
I can't. I open it up and I'm like, this template, this effect. Nope. No, too much, too much. Are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning.
Morning. Me too. Just because I go to bed early.
Same. No,
I don't go to bed early.
I wake up early. I be going to bed kind of late.
You wake up early.
Earlier than what I used to. Gee, I used to be going to sleep like 12 a.m.
Used to go to bed at 12?
Yeah, because I used to work out like in the evening. So, yeah.
It took you a while to settle in. All right, I think that was my last one. Yay. Yeah, that was my last one. Before we close out, DeAnna, I want you to look into your camera and tell the people. First, I want you to give one piece of advice, any advice, your favorite quote, piece of advice, something you want to share with the listeners before we close out.
Okay.
Anything encouraging, uplifting, anything you want, anything. Okay. And then tell us where we can find you, where we can connect with you on socials.
Okay, so I would say piece of advice. I think a lot of people with their dreams, what they're passionate about, they kind of go ahead and feel as if there's not enough, like other people are doing it, so maybe they shouldn't do it, or nobody's gonna go ahead and be interested in their craft. But like we talked about, there's space and room for everyone, and I think that's just something that when you go ahead and understand, it kind of feels less daunting to go ahead and pursue what you're interested in. And I'm speaking this and literally saying this to myself, like advice to myself. But yeah, there's space for everyone. Go ahead and pursue what you're interested in. Use social media to your advantage. Go ahead and just hold yourself accountable by posting certain things and telling people about it and putting it into the atmosphere, into the universe. And, you know, people will go ahead and see that what you're passionate about, and one way or another you'll find yourself actually being consistent, and one day you might actually do something that you love. So yeah, and you can find me on my fitness page, DeAnna, DeAnna.fitness.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, but the thing that I wanted to tell you, that I told you I was saving for the podcast, when I found you on Instagram, I don't know how long ago, at least 2 years ago or so, what stood out to me was your name, because literally I knew that I was going to name my daughter DeAnna since I was in high school. And so when you popped up, I was like, this is a little creepy because,
oh my gosh, but you know, like, I don't hear people with that name.
It's not a very common name. So when you popped up, I was like, hold on.
Like, you come up with this name by yourself? Or
she has the name that I'm going to name my daughter. And she's Bahamian. Hold on. And so I said I was going to wait. Because I was like, it's maybe kind of creepy to message her this. So I was like, when I see you, I'm going to tell you. But Ethan will tell you, like, I've had that locked in. Wow. Like, I was in high school. Like, I actually had a dream. My mom came to me, and I don't really dream about my mom. She came to me in my dream when I was in high school. And I remember asking her, like, I knew she had passed. So I was like, hey, what are you doing here in my dream? And she said, oh, I came back. And I said, well, what's your name? And she said, DeAnna. And so I was like, from that time, I was like, I'm going to name my daughter DeAnna. I got the whole name already. DeAnna Rosina is going to be, my mom's name is Rosina. So I was like, I'm going to give her middle name. And so I was like, I got to tell you that. So you don't think it's creepy when I go name my child?
No, I don't think it's creepy. Girl, you could use that
But
name.
It's a beautiful name. And I was like, yeah, DeKel.
Yeah,
D-E.
it goes.
Yeah.
It goes. It just flows.
Yeah.
So you mean like your mommy said it, and that's like where you heard it from?
She said it in my dream. Yeah. She told me that was her name in my dream, like her new name, because in my dream I knew that, you know, like when you're dreaming, like, you know the reality, but you also know you're dreaming. So I knew that she had passed. I was like, why are you here? Yeah. And she was like, I came back. And I was like, well, what's your new name? She told me DeAnna. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, that's literally probably the last time I dreamed about her. Like, from her, I don't dream about her. So, and I hadn't dreamt about her for maybe at least a year or 2 years to that point. So, like, yeah. I was like, this is the sign. Like, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah, it's definitely have to name her that. 100%.
Yeah, that's the plan. Mr. Quan got to do the right thing. Give me a girl. Yeah. And we good. But thank you so much, DeAnna, for chatting with me. It was great learning more about you, learning more about your journey. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the fitness scene soon, hopefully working with you soon.
Yes.
And I'm definitely, if you have questions, you want to reach out about stuff, bounce stuff off of me, if I can help in any way, Like, let me know if you need help in the online space, in-person space, whatever it is. Like, I mean that, like, reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out. You have my contacts. You know where to find me. So yeah, I'm hoping to see great things from you, and I'm excited to see the mark that you leave on the space. I think it's great to see people that are actually passionate about it and coming from a genuine place of actually helping people on their journey and not just in it because it looks good, it seems good, it's cool, it's making money, whatever. Like, all that stuff fades and is temporary. But if you're in it, your heart is in it, you're passionate about it, that's where you know you're, like, solid, you know, and you're in it for the right reasons. And regardless of how hard it gets, because it's going to get hard. It's, like I said, it's a learning experience just like anything else. But if you have that foundation of, you know, you're passionate about it, you want the best for people, you can always win. And so I truly believe that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we got to do a little toast before we close it out. Cheers. Cheers to you. And passing your exam, breaking into the space, killing stuff.
Thank you.
And all the great things to come. Thank you all so much for joining us today and tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and also follow and connect with DeAnna on all her social platforms. We're going to link them below in the description. And until next time, y'all, we will see you on the next episode of Flex Pretty Podcast. And take care.
Bye.
Bye.